What is up, people? What is up, people? This is Abraham Walker with Ask A Walker, your Northern Virginia real estate agent. And we're back at you with another live stream video. So today we are continuing our series on the 100 questions every first-time home buyer should ask. Today we're jumping into question number 11 in our series, how to choose the right agent. So every night we go live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm so happy that you were able to join me. Just keep in mind, I'm going to go through the question. I have some talking points I'm going to discuss, and then I'm going to get into your questions at the end of this session. So if you have any questions that you would like me to answer, let me know. Put them down below in the comment section, and we'll get to it after this is over. If you're ready to start your home buying journey, there is a link in the description to the Perfect Home Questionnaire. Fill out that form and you'll be able to schedule a time to meet online via Zoom for me to answer any and all of your questions about real estate, whether that's buying a home, selling a home, or investing in real estate. So that link is available in the description. So let's talk about how to choose the right agent. There are three things we're going to talk about in this category. We're going to talk about making it a good match, ways to find an agent, and then we're going to end with some questions that you can use to answer and interrogate any agent that you're thinking about using. First up, it's important for you to consider or to keep in mind that when you're using a real estate agent, this is an interview process. This is an interview for you to them and also from them to you. So you want to be hesitant about using anyone's services that doesn't have a series of questions that they want to ask you. They don't have a consultation they want to bring you through. They have no structure to their method. The methodology is just to hop in the car and meet you at a property. You want to be hesitant about that. Another thing too, because I know that this is popular, using an agent that you met through a platform like Zillow is very common and is frowned upon, because usually what happens when you're online, you're looking at houses and then you click a button, and then that button says, I want to see this particular property. And then the person shows you or schedules the appointment. Maybe they'll call you and then you'll meet at the property to see that home. What you don't know is that that buyer, that agent that you're meeting at the property, is trying to close you at the home. I've seen it several times where an agent is outside the house in a car looking disheveled and are professional, right? So I don't want to criticize these individuals because they are my peers. And this person is trying to close somebody that they just met. Time and time again, people from our YouTube channel or from other social media outlets reach out to us and they say, Abraham, I'm ready to start the journey. And I move to schedule an appointment with them. And then they say, oh, but I'm already going to see a property tonight. And I'll have to explain to them, how are you seeing the property if you haven't hired an agent? And they'll say, I saw something online and I clicked schedule. So someone is going to show me the property. That someone is a real estate agent who paid for that click, who paid for that marketing platform, and they are going to close you. Will you be closed? I don't know. I know that Zillow makes tons and tons of monies from these agents. So we have to say a percentage of you are being closed by these individuals on site. That's not the way you want to do this. You want to search for your real estate agent, hire them, have them interview you, and then go through the process of seeing homes. When you're looking for an agent, you want to make sure that you have somebody who is a good match. What does that mean? If you're somebody who smokes, then it's likely that you're looking for someone else who smokes as well. people who smoke have similar interests. That's not to say that I don't smoke, but that's not to say I don't have that interest. It's just that you're going to be with this person for several weeks. Sometimes it takes 8 to 12 weeks on average for a buyer to find a property or to go through the entire home buying process. So you kind of want to find somebody that you have something in common with, some type of similar interest, someone who can understand what you are looking for. Whether this is somebody from your local community, maybe this is somebody you share a hobby with, something in common is going to really help you to have a pleasurable experience because you are going to be with this person for quite some time. Stay away from pushy people. If you meet somebody and they're overly aggressive, not to say that they're not professional, but that they're constantly trying to move you in a direction that you feel some sort of friction, if that's how they begin the relationship, if that's how they begin the interaction with you, it's going to continue. And I'll put my money on it. Once you get emotional about a property, I bet they're going to lean in to that pressure to get you to make a decision that you probably would not have made if you had a little space. Keep that in mind. No pushy people. If you're a first-time home buyer and you're looking for a real estate agent, you want to find someone who likes, enjoys, finds pleasure in answering questions without providing you with any attitude. You don't want someone who makes you feel like your questions are a nuisance or bothering this individual, or someone who's condescending, who makes you feel less than when you're answering or asking questions. It's very important for my first time home buyers to feel comfortable with the process and to be in a relaxed state so that they feel at ease with providing me with any questions that they may have. This is important for you to look for. You want to test out the person, maybe ask a few questions back to back, see if they get rattled, see if they're excited about making sure you understand. Next up, when you're looking for somebody who is excited about answering your questions, find out if they ask any follow-up questions. Find out if they are concerned about whether or not you understand what they're covering with you. You don't want somebody who will answer your question with just a yes or no and no background, no context, nothing that makes you feel more educated about the process. That's why we do these videos. We feel like we're bringing value to you all by educating you about both the region, the home buying process, home selling process, everything, so that you feel much more comfortable bringing your questions to us. Next up, we had a client recently, or within the last 2 years, who reached out to us and they were thinking about firing their real estate agent. The reason why they were going to fire their real estate agent is because the real estate agent did not want to show them properties in a certain section of Northern Virginia. This real estate agent was based out of Stafford. The client wanted to look at properties in the Herndon, Reston area. If you know anything about Northern Virginia, you know that that is quite a trek. You're looking at probably like an hour to an hour and a half, depending on traffic. This isn't to say that the Stafford agent couldn't service that client, but they started to steer them closer to the Prince William County area or to the lower part of Fairfax County because they didn't want to make that drive. When you're looking for an agent, find out where they live in relationship to where you want to buy a property or where you believe you'll be interested in buying a home. If they're not conveniently located, then it's going to make it a little bit stressful for them to service you when it's time for you to look at properties. Next up, find out if the agent is a part-time agent or a full-time agent. This isn't to say that someone who is part-time, which means that they're dual career, which means that they have a full-time obligation either during the day, which is most likely a 9 to 5, and then they sell real estate after hours or on the weekends. It's not to say that that person can't service you. It is to say that if you don't work a normal schedule, then you're going to be looking at houses during the daytime. If you're looking at houses during the daytime, your schedule may actually conflict with their schedule. And what you'll see is that these agents, they will restructure the showings to make it seem like it's not convenient for the seller, not for you. So they may use language like, oh, you know what, the house isn't available today. We can go see it on the weekend, or it's not available at this time during the day. We can go see the property in the evening. And that is because they are not available. And if they are not available, and if you're not able to see properties quickly, then you may lose out on that property. So find out if the agent that you're thinking about using is full-time or part-time. If they're part-time, which means that they already have another career, but if you work in the same space as them, that's not going to really be that much of an issue because you're working when they're working, okay? And I know several agents who are dual career or quote unquote part-time agents, and they do a great job. They provide a great service for their clients when their clients have similar schedules. Just something you want to know. Next up, let's talk about ways to find an agent. Also, get your questions ready for me. Just post your questions down below in the comment section. After I finish my prepared pieces, we'll get to answering your questions. Ways to find an agent. The first way you can find an agent is what you're doing right now, watching YouTube videos, going on social media platforms, and consuming content. Consuming content is an excellent way to start your journey of finding an agent because you get a sense for how the agent operates and their philosophy from consuming the content that they produce. We try to consume or produce a lot of educational pieces, so we're much more education centered in our company. Other agents may not be. They may be much more of the referral type of agent, which means that they get a lot of their business or their new relationships through their network, which isn't to say that one is better than the other. It's just a feeling, right? Like what do you feel is best and how would you find this person? With referral agents, the challenge with that methodology is that you're limited by your network. So if your network doesn't know somebody, then your network can't refer you to that individual. And that is the second way to find people, through your network. When you're finding somebody through your network, either that's a neighbor, somebody at work, someone at church, someone at the gym, one of your friends, anybody, you want to ask that person a couple questions before they fully refer you to this individual. The first question, of course, is who are they, what company they work for. The next question you want to ask is, why do they feel comfortable referring this individual to you? That question should start them down the process of explaining what they believe is interesting or unique about this person. Excuse me. Another question you want to ask your network or your friends or relatives is, what did that agent do that you liked and disliked? You want to find out what the quirks are. What are the non-negotiables? What are some things that could go wrong in the future? And the person that's referring you is going to have that information. Next up, you want to find out, how did they find that agent? Did they find the agent through somebody in the network? Is someone in your friend group the person that loves to refer people? Is this person from an ad that they found online? Is this person just really active in the community? Is this somebody from the gym? How did they find the agent that they referred you? The last question you want to ask, which is important, is, are you incentivized to refer me to this agent? There's this new methodology of lead generation right now where agents are hosting private events and giving away tickets to different sports venues, all for referrals. And the person who is going to be at this private dinner, I even know one agent in Maryland who takes the people that refer him the most amount of business, he takes them on a private shopping trip on this luxury bus, and they go spend a day at this outlet mall, this luxury outlet mall. But the only way you can qualify to get on this bus is if you send referrals, but you can't send one. It's a competition between you and everyone else on that bus. So if you have one of these people in your friend group and they see you as a ticket to get them on that bus or to get them in a private suite for a baseball game, basketball game, football game, or have a great restaurant, then you want to know that up front. The last way that you could find real estate agents is at open houses. This is one of the techniques I believe is this technique is recommended in the book, 100 Questions Every First-Time Home Buyer Should Ask. And I want to let you know what the problem is with finding someone at an open house. Normally at open houses, in general, open houses are manned by less experienced agents. And what I mean by that is there's two parts to the real estate transaction. There is the listing side, and then there is the buyer side. Listing agents focus on listings. So that means that there is a certain type of agent that goes on listed appointments, prospects for seller clients. This person is developing skills to service listings. Then there are agents who focus on buyer agents. This is an individual who is probably into referrals. They're also probably much more focused on networking. They're pleasurable, joyous individuals to be around, right? So those two individuals. Open houses are regularly manned or stationed, or the person who's put on the open house, by newer agents. The reason why newer agents are putting on open houses is because this is a great method of looking for leads, which everybody who comes to the open house is considered at that time. This is it's a complicated idea because a lot of sellers believe that an open house is actually going to assist them in selling their properties. That's not true. That's not true. If a buyer is interested in buying a $500,000, $700,000, a $1.2 million, $2 million property, they'll just schedule an appointment. If they're already pre-approved and they already have hired a real estate agent, then an open house isn't really the method to which they're going to go and see properties. This is usually for people who are just looking around, which gives us an opportunity to generate leads. Who needs the leads, right? Who need those leads? Well, if we have listing agents who cater themselves to listings and sellers and looking for people who are selling, and then we have buyers agents who are looking for buyers and developing their network, the agents on the bottom of the totem pole are going to be newer agents. So if you go into an open house looking for an agent, then you're probably talking to somebody who has less experience. Now, I know my real estate agent friends are going to give me a little flack about that, and just go to an open house and ask the person how many years of experience you have. Is this your listing? Ask any agent at an open house. I mean, we have a agent that reached out to us to do one of our listings that's coming up, and it's a new agent in the office. That's cool. I don't mind. But if the person asks them, is this, if this is their listing, or if they're the face on the sign, it's likely not to be the case. So those are ways to find an agent. Now let's get into some questions that you can use to interview agents. You should be conducting an interview yourself. You should be having some feedback for the agent. Now, I have a buyer consultation that I use that I bring everyone through. There's about 30 questions in it, and those questions kind of answer everything that the client will have on their mind. We've been doing this for a while, so we kind of know what people would like to know. But it's rare that we actually get any questions ourselves, and I try to get my clients to ask me questions, but alas, we're still here. We're still in the same predicament. So let me give you some questions that you should ask your agent or your future agent when you meet with them. Now, there are 16 questions that are recommended in this book. The first 100 questions every first-time home buyer should ask. I think some of them don't make any sense, and you're not going to really get any meaningful answers back from the agent that will help you to make a decision. It's just almost fluff. So we'll go through every question, and then I'll give you my take on them. The first question is, how many years have you been in the real estate business? This question doesn't really matter, and this is why. Even if you meet an agent who's been in the business for 30 years, they could have been doing business 30 years wrong, right? They could have been. They could be the worst agent in the board just because they have accumulated years. I've only been selling real estate for 14 years, but I started when I was 25. So if you would have asked me when I was 27, how long you been in real estate? And if I said 2 years, but then I also told you I was the rookie of the year for my office, and I was also the fourth highest producing agent, what does that mean? Nothing. Number two, how many years have you been with this company? Again, irrelevant question. Real estate agents move around from company to company, depending on the compensation packages, and also whether or not they like somebody at the office, or if the office offers color copies. I'm telling you, agents choose offices for weird reasons. So this question is irrelevant. Number three, how many real estate transactions did you complete in each of the last 2 years? I can see why this question is asked. And again, if you find a new agent who just switched careers from some customer service oriented field, most likely they were a waiter. That's where we get a lot of real estate agents from. They were a teacher. That's where we get a lot of real estate agents from. That person is probably already accustomed to servicing people, and they're still going to provide you with a great transaction. Number four, what was the dollar volume of your transactions in each of the last 2 years? So what this question number four is trying to get you to find out is, if you're dealing with somebody, let's say for instance, somebody says, I sold $5 million in real estate last year, which you see a lot of these agents doing online. They'll say I'm $1 million real estate agent, which really in Northern Virginia is what, 2 transactions. So this question is trying to get you to understand how many transactions, and also what is the dollar volume for that agent. Again, this could be irrelevant unless you're going into the luxury market. I think in the luxury market, it's luxury properties offer a different skill set, if I'm honest with you. I think luxury properties require a different level of details, because you're selling somebody, or you're helping somebody purchase something that you're no longer purchasing just a home. You're purchasing something that is going to be a status symbol, something that is going to elevate their name in society. And I think that's a different type of selling. Number five, what percentage of your business is with home buyers? What percentage of your buyer business is with first-time home buyers? I think that's an irrelevant question, except if you were focused on first-time home buyer clients, this shows that you would be more willing to answer questions. It can also show if you see an agent who mainly focuses on first-time home buyers, and again, this is going to get me into trouble, but I'll just say it anyway. First-time home buyers are the easiest people to take advantage of, because you don't know what's going on. So this agent who you met from some seminar, some ad on Facebook, some Zillow marketing piece, some realtor, any of these different ways you find this person, right? You don't know what you don't know. And also, these agents are good at getting you to sign exclusive contracts with them. If you sign an exclusive contract with this person and they make it to where you can't get out. So our buyer's agency agreement, you sign something with us, but it says that you could cancel at any time. Not all of them are designed that way. So if you find somebody who's only targeting this type of market, they could be going after people who are not savvy enough to understand if you're a good agent. Number 6, how old are your clients on average? Do they have children? I don't really know why you would ask that question, because I don't know why it's relevant to know if the clients you serve have children. Maybe they're trying to figure out if you understand how schools operate. Maybe so. I'm not sure. Number 7 says, what was the price range, lowest to highest, of the homes you helped your clients buy and sell last year? I believe what this question is trying to get you to understand, or at least get the information you're trying to provide from the agent, is to find out if they're used to servicing clients like yourself. Now, I will say, luxury agents sometimes get a bad rap, where people believe that just because you maybe sell $1 million homes, or you work with $1 million clients, that you won't service a $500,000 or $700,000 buyer. That's just not the case. Money is money to these people. So I understand what this question is saying. I don't know how this question would guide you in the right direction to say yay or nay. Question number 8 is, what would you say the price of the homes you helped your clients buy and sell? Again, question 8 and 7 are similar. Question 9, are you an exclusive buyer broker? Do you ask home buyers to sign an exclusivity contract? Do you charge an upfront fee that is later applied to the commission? I think this is a really good question for a couple reasons. First of all, in Virginia, all buyers are going to be asked to sign a contract, and you should want your agent to say, I'm going to be working with you. You're my client. So then you know who you're going to call in the event you have something real estate related to do. The upfront fees is important to find out, because there's some savvy large sales teams in the Northern Virginia region who charge amazing fees for the same service. And what I mean by that is, the way the commission works is, the listing agent goes and negotiate the commission for the overall contract right now, right? Until the Justice Department breaks up the way we do commission, this is how it is, right? At this time, January 23rd, 25th, 2023, this is how it works. The listing agent negotiates with the seller for the overall commission. In that commission agreement, there is a part that's going to be separated for the buyer's agent, right? Some of these savvy agents in the region, they will get their buyer client to agree to pay above the percentage that's offered by the seller's agent. So right now, let's say that on average, the average buyer commission is 2%. So if this agent says, you know what, my services are worth, and they have every right to say this, I don't think that people understand though what's going to happen, because you're just signing paperwork. My fees are 3%, right? So my fees this is what they say. My fees are 3%. So that means that if we go and see a property where we're only paying 2%, you're going to pay the difference. Okay. And that's what people are agreeing to. In addition to that, these same, I want to be respectful. These same savvy salespeople also have buyer admin fees or administration fees, and these fees are on top of the commission. So they are not including that into their commission like this says. They are going to charge you on top of the commission, and I've seen some amazing fees. All the way up to $1,500 on top of the commission. Now, I think I'm probably a bad capitalist, because I can't do that yet. I don't have the stomach for that. I believe that we get paid, we get compensated well. and to extract more money from my clients, I don't have what it takes. I can, in theory, I can understand the concept. You could say that my presentation packages cost so much money. The years of experience I have is so valuable, but I just don't. I don't have the stomach yet to charge on top of the commission that's offered to me yet. I mean, maybe in the future, maybe I'll get over that with age, but I've been selling real estate for 25 years. I mean, not 25, since I was 25, and I've been in business, 14, going on 15 years, and I still haven't been able to do it. So I do envy those agents though, because that is a way to make more money. But then at the same time, I just, it makes me sick a little bit to think about, we're already so privileged to have one of the more lucrative professions that are still around. We've been around since the early 1900s. So I'm just so grateful for this opportunity that I can't make more money from people yet. You know what I mean? I don't know if you know what I mean. But anyway, let's go to the next question. What are the primary neighborhoods or communities in which you work? I think that this is another silly question, and this is why. With the MLS, the way the MLS works, all of the properties that are going to be available are online. So that means that you're going to get a notification whenever a new listing pops up, and then you're most likely telling your agent you want to see X property. In the olden days, the agent had to be much more skilled about the location and the neighborhood, and they have to be almost like a geographic specialist. Now with the internet has kind of democratized location specific agent outside of listing agents. So listing agents are usually more geographically centered, and they have more expertise in a geographic location. But when it comes to buyer's agent, the service you're buying is someone who is going to successfully secure you a property. That property could be in a number of places. Question number 11, how familiar are you with the schools, crime statistics, and demographics of the various neighborhoods? This is a tricky question because agents get in trouble for answering or for steering clients. And the way they say that we steer clients is by providing you with information that positions a particular neighborhood in a negative light. And so that is seen as steering. So most agents are just not going to answer this question. They'll maybe give you access to a website or some place where you can get this information. On our end, if you'll notice in our YouTube videos and videos like this that I'm doing right now, we'll say this website said that this is what the crime stats are, or this article says that this is what the school ratings are. So we'll never say this is a bad school, this is a good school. Outside of Hayfield Secondary, our kids go to Hayfield Secondary, so we have some experience with them. Our kids also went to Lane Elementary School because we live in Kingstown in Fairfax County, so we have some experience with those. So we'll share personal stories from those locations. But we will never say that this school is bad, this school is good, because to be honest with you, your experience at a school is going to be different based on, how you value schools. And I'll also say your experience with the neighborhood is also going to be different because how you show up in a neighborhood. Let's say, for instance, in a neighborhood, you have a nice Mercedes-Benz or a brand new Tesla or a Porsche or all kind of other trappings in front of your property. And your house looks really nice. It looks much nicer than everybody else's house. It's likely that if a criminal was going to come into the neighborhood, they would go shopping at your house first. I'm just letting you know. I mean, if you are a mark or somebody who stands out, then, you kind of pay the price for that in any neighborhood, any community. All right, 12th question that you would ask your real estate agent, your potential real estate agent in their buyer consultation: what style of home do you most frequently work with? It says in quotes, if you're looking for a 4-family apartment building and they're more familiar with single family houses, it might not be a good fit. I don't see any, because of the internet, the way we have access to so much more information, this question isn't as relevant. Number 13, are you a smoker or a non-smoker? If that's important to you, this is one of the questions. Number 14, how many home buyers or sellers do you work with at a given time? Okay, so this question, what they're trying to find out is, at least from your perspective as the buyer interviewing the agent, they want you to see if you can determine how busy this person is. Excuse me. Excuse me. They want to see if you can determine how busy this agent is and what is their workload. Okay? So a buyer's agent with an assistant or just a high-powered buyer's agent could handle, quote unquote, 8 transactions or 8 buyer closings in a given month. It's not that many people that do that volume, that level of volume of transactions. So it's likely that you'll rarely come into contact with somebody at that level of business. But the goal here is that they're trying to say you could see if if the agent answers this question, you could tell if they have a heavy workload and then make a decision that way. I understand the nature of this question. I just don't think you're going to get a useful answer because when we're working with clients, they're in various stages of the home buying process. If you're talking about just the buyer's agent. So one person may be in the consultation phase. One person may be looking at properties. Another person may be in the home inspection phase. Another person may be out of home inspection in the appraisal or financing contingency phase, or out of the finance contingency phase. There's all these different phases that unless you knew what we did with all our clients, then I don't know if you're going to find useful information with answering that question. Question number 15, how frequently will I hear from you? How do I reach you? Can I email you or phone you at your home? Are you planning any extended vacations in the next 6 months? I think this is an important question. And I'll tell you, most experienced agents, even if they are planning a vacation, they have someone in their office that's going to take over their file or represent their clients while they're out of the office. You could ask, who is that individual? I don't know if it's that important because most agents don't take month-long vacations. Maybe it's a week vacation, maybe it's 2 weeks. So the transaction that you're going to be in with this agent is going to be a 4-week transaction after you go into contract. So there really isn't a long enough period of time that this agent will be away that I think that your transaction will suffer. Now, how frequently will I hear from you and how do I reach you? I think that this is an important question, at least to just know. Even if you're not, how would you test that? You would have to test that to know if they're actually going to be responsive. But I'm going to actually add that into my buyer's consultation just at the end, just telling people how they will hear from us. And we already do something where we talk about what the next step is. So we kind of answer this, but I think that we could do a better job of that, answering that question preemptively. The last question, question number 16, do you work with an assistant? Will I be working with the assistant or with you? Okay, so I think what this book is really means is if you are like a lead buyer's agent. So some teams, some larger operations have what is called a lead buyer's agent who handles all of the consultations, but they do not handle the showings. Excuse me. Okay, so they have a lead buyer's agent. They handle the consultation. So they handle the intake of the lead, and you may actually talk to them on the phone up until your consultation and up until you sign the contract. Once you sign the contract, then you would go over to, in Keller Williams, we call it a showing assistant. Some other people may call it an assistant, but you may go to that person to actually look at properties. Once you find a property you like, then you may be cycled back to the lead buyer's agent, or you'll be cycled to someone who will handle the contract, right? The contract negotiation. It depends on the size of the operation, to be honest with you. We don't have a huge number of these larger teams in this, our larger sales teams in this region. So it's not that it's unlikely that you'll come into contact with them. It's just that this question would only make sense in those areas. So like in my organization, we're a two-person organization. So I handle the sales side. My wife handles the administrative side. So if if there's any kind of administrative communication, emails, coordinating anything, then my wife is doing that. And then I'm the person that you'll see at all of the showings. I'm the person that'll walk you through the contracts and go through all of those steps, right? So I think that my situation is kind of common for most agents who at least have somebody, a 2-person operation, right? So those are the 16 questions that you should ask, right? That you should at least have some questions for the agent that you're interviewing, and demand an interview before you go jump in a car with somebody to go see a property. You want to get an idea of how they're going to operate inside the home. Last up, some people do this weird thing that I still don't understand, even after 14 years of doing business, where they will do a lot of the legwork before they talk to an agent. Let's say, in a 2% commission, $500,000 home, that agent is going to make $10,000. I think you should do your best to get your money's worth, right? Get your money's worth. Doing all this legwork, going to see properties, going to open houses, getting your pre-approval, doing all this legwork and then talking to an agent, I think is not the best use of your money. I would also say that there is this segment of the population that think that they're overbearing on the agent, right? They think that they're asking too much of the agent. So I've had clients where we're in the midst of seeing properties on a regular basis, making offers, and then the client will say, well, I don't want to impose. And I'll have to let them know, hey, look, you're going to pay me $10,000 when this is all over. $10, 15, 20, $30,000. Get your money's worth. Get your money's worth. Stop thinking you're imposing on the agent. This person is a professional providing you with the service. Get your money's worth. Lastly, before we go into the questions, please stop talking directly to the listing agent. What you don't know about talking to the listing agent is the listing agent has already signed a contract with the seller saying how much the commission is going to be tied to that transaction. So there's already an expense that the seller has agreed upon. You getting any percentage of this agreement, this agreed upon commission, is unlikely. It's unlikely. And when you talk directly to the listing agent and you make the transaction a dual agency transaction, now the listing agent cannot answer your questions and the seller's questions, or they'll get you to sign something that says that you are an unrepresented individual. So then they can continue representing the seller and they will still get both sides of the commission. You are paying for a service. Get your money's worth. Get your money's worth. There's money. Things cost money. You are paying for that service. Get yourself an agent. Get yourself somebody you can hang with, somebody that you can go see multiple properties with, that you feel comfortable going through the whole transaction, and somebody you believe that is going to represent you, right? So that's it. That's question number 11. This question took a little bit longer than I anticipated. 43 minutes. My goodness. I didn't think it was going to take this long. I got to be honest with you. When I looked over the material, I was like, Abraham, you'll get through this in like 20 minutes and then you'll be good. All right, let's go through the questions now. Post your questions down below. We'll answer those as they become available. All right, let's get this other camera here. There we go. That's our question camera. There we go. Okay, so Ashawn Jones says, as an agent, how do you answer the question, can I cancel our agreement at any time? I'll just say, that's just what it is. I just allow people to cancel their agreement anytime, because if you don't want to work with me, I don't want to work with you. I mean, I have a wife. I have 2 children I like. I live in a house that I like. I live in a neighborhood I like. I don't want to be out with you if you don't want to be out with me. And also, it's important for you to find somebody you can click with, somebody that you'll feel comfortable with, because this is a big deal. These are big transactions. It's not like we're going to the store to buy some eggs. I mean, although eggs are pretty expensive, but yeah, you could cancel at any time. All right. Sean Jones said, a little context, read an article. This is a good question to ask agents as you are interviewing one to work with, both sell and buy. Yes. A lot of agents will, I mean, especially, well, it depends. It depends. Some of the more savvy agents don't really review the contract with you, or they will kind of not mention some things and just let you sign the document. But on our contracts, both the buy side and the sell side, there is just an easy exit agreement. So you could cancel the contract at any time. All right. Sharon B says, what area of Fairfax County are you seeing the majority of home sales in the past year? So the most popular part of Fairfax County is still going to be this Alexandria section, right? So you talk about the Alexandria Springfield area still has the largest collection of sales than the entire other region. And that's really because it's much more suburban over here. There's less development. There's less space between homes in these regions. So there's just more volume in this part of Fairfax County. So I'm talking about along the blue line where the mixing bowl is. That's where you're going to see a lion's share of transactions. And that's Sharon B. Thank you for that question. All right. Sean Jones says, is there another suggested list of questions for listing agents? That's a good question. I could look up something. I could find something. Maybe we could do a video about that. I'll add that to my notes. That's a great question, Sean. Questions for listing agents. All right. So I added that to my notes. I could definitely put something together. And just so you all can know, we just finished our question number 11 from the 100 questions every first-time home buyer should ask. Also, we're live every night at 8 p.m. The way I'm thinking, usually real estate is a little bit slower at the beginning of the year, so I'm gonna have a little bit more free time. So I'll jump on every night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then when things kind of pick up in like a month or two, we'll probably switch to just Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Because to be honest with you, there's really not that much client work after 8 p.m. We've already done all of our showings. We don't really have clients who like to look at properties at night just because there's a lot of stuff you can't see. So 8 p.m., put this on your calendar, tell your friends if they're ready to ask an agent in real time about a question. I'm here for you. All right. LaShawn M. Do you only work with customers looking to buy, or do you also help customers find a rental property? Great question, LaShawn. At this time, we're only focused on helping clients buy or sell real estate. And there's a reason for this. With rental properties in general, in Northern Virginia, agents only make 25% of the first month's rent, right? So on a $3,000 property, you're looking at, let me get my calculator out here. So on the $3,000 property, you're looking at $750, right? So $750 is how much I would make, but I would show you, let's say I show you 10 rental properties. To even show you 10 rental properties is a challenge because in Northern Virginia, there's a huge percentage of our inventory for rentals that's actually not represented by real estate agents. So you would have to have a mix of both real estate agent represented properties and just owner properties, right? Properties that are represented by owners, direct landlords. It makes much more sense for you not to get into a contract with the real estate agent, in my opinion. It makes much more sense for you to at least exhaust all of the owner properties, the properties that are just represented by the owners, or go straight to the listing agent for rentals to schedule any showings like that. There's really just not enough money in it to make it make sense. Hopefully that's a good explanation for you, or at least that's where we are right now, right? In New Orleans, you know, I'm from New Orleans, so real estate there for 4 years. Yeah, 4 years. And in New Orleans, rental commissions were 50% split 50% of the first month's rent. So the way commission worked, at least in Northern Virginia, the listing agent or the leasing agent, the agent that represents the landlord, their commission agreement says that my fee is 1 month's rent. And then the way they split up that fee is 75% on, this is on average, 75% goes to the leasing agent or the person representing the landlord, and then 25% goes to the person representing the tenant. Because of this disparity in commission, a lot of agents who work with client buyers and sellers, they don't really do rental clients for this reason. So I hope that makes sense. So if you have any other questions, please let me know. Post them down below in the comment section. As you can see, I try to be as honest as possible and direct. If you're ready to start your home buying journey or your home selling journey, there is a link in the description to the Perfect Home Questionnaire. You fill out that form and we'll schedule a time to meet online via Zoom to answer any and all of your questions that you may have. All right, so we have another question. Lena S says, hello there. I'm new to this area and I'm renting a lovely home in Centerville. And when my lease is up, the owner states I will have first right of refusal to purchase. Should I have a realtor to help? I suggest that you have a realtor to help, but they shouldn't charge you a full commission for that service. Maybe like 1% of the sales price, and then have that person do the drafting of the contract. Also on your end, you're going to want somebody to provide you with a comparable analysis to make sure that you're not overpaying for the property. A lot of times landlords will also get their tenants to purchase the property and then they won't do a home inspection. I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't do a home inspection before you purchase the property, because even though you're living in the property and you think to yourself, you know what, I've been here for a while. I see how everything works. That's just not true. Even in my property, I don't use all the windows all the time. I don't use every aspect of the property. So I would recommend using a real estate agent, but also I have a biased opinion because I make money off of these transactions. So I don't know if I can be completely trusted in that regard just because I'm biased. You know what I'm saying? I think we bring a lot of value to the table, as would anybody who's been brainwashed by our industry. So Lena, I guess they take that with a grain of salt, I guess. But it's good on you that you reached out to your landlord, at least your landlord talked to you about purchasing a property. Try to get your landlord to agree to fix up everything before you move out, or at least give you some type of credit for the condition of the property so that you could possibly fix the property yourself. Another thing too, with closing cost credits, we're going to see less closing cost credits just coming up in the next couple of months. But with closing cost credits, one of the advantages to getting closing costs is that it reduces your cash needed to close on a property, right? So let's say, for instance, if your closing cost on average is like $15,000, that's not your down payment. This is not your down payment. This is just closing costs. Then closing costs is going to reduce that amount you bring to the table, which now means that you have more cash at the beginning of the transaction. All right, so we have another question here. I'm looking to move to Northern Virginia in summer and plan to lease for 6 months to know the area better. Before I can make my buy decision, I'm in tech and going to be working in Reston area hybrid work. All right, let's see. We got a question here. I want to know what areas would be good for a family of 4 with teen kids. And this is ABC Cancun. Thank you so much for watching and answering this question. Okay, so what area would you, so you have family of 4. Let me ask you this, ABC. How do you feel about schools? How do you feel about school ratings? Do you feel like my kid has to be in a top rated school? Do you feel like do you have a certain lifestyle you want to live? Like, I think that there's so many questions that I would have to ask you about the location before I can give you my final answer. If you're already working in Reston, the good news is that Reston is surrounded by a lot of housing opportunities. I I guess the challenge is going to be, what is your budget? Because if you have 14, you have a family of 4. Okay, so you have 2 kids. It's just 2 kids. So I guess you could do a townhouse if possible. So if you're okay with the townhouse, then that opens up your opportunities. If you're only going for exclusively single family homes, then it's going to depend on what do you believe a good school is? How comfortable are you with the ratings? Do you have to have something that's a 7 or an 8 as far as the ratings are concerned? Then you would have to travel a little bit for that. So it just depends. All right, ABC Cancun is continuing. He says that, or they say, Ashburn is what I hear from most people. Yeah, Ashburn is nice. I would, let's see. I'm okay with a townhouse, also 3,500 square feet. You see, 3,500 square feet townhouses are almost $1 million. So in Ashburn, at least. Ashburn, it depends. It depends. What do you think your lifestyle is going to be? Do you envision yourself going to the city a lot? Do you envision yourself going out to the mountains a lot? Are you much more of a outdoorsy type of person? Or are you somebody who likes to be around a new restaurant? Like, what do you think your lifestyle is? Because your lifestyle will definitely be the determining factor of what location you even feel comfortable moving into. Ashburn is going to be a little bit more sleepy, more reserved, because it's further away from DC proper or Arlington or even Tyson's Corner. So what activities will you do? Now, I will say Ashburn does have a lot of activities in general to do, but it's not to be confused with a traditional city. If that makes sense, ABC Cancun. All right, Lena says, let's continue with Lena's buying her landlord's townhouse or property. I'm not sure what type of property it is that Lena's in, but she said, I sure will, and thank you. My pleasure, Lena. And Lena also says, I will definitely be in touch with your team. Excellent. Yes. Let us know. There is a link in the description to the Perfect Home Questionnaire to schedule some time with us. We can sync calendars through that application and go from there. So post your questions down below every night. Every night we're going through 100 questions every first-time home buyer should ask. I'm giving you a real estate agent's perspective, also putting a spin of Northern Virginia on this, right? I've been in business for 14 years, and some of these books, they're good books, but they're more or less generic content, and you need somebody to give you a local's perspective, and also what can you do in this market, right? Some things, these books and some things I see online on YouTube and stuff, some of the things they suggest are just ludicrous. They won't work in our market. Okay, so Lena's in a single family home. Oh, that's perfect. Perfect. Well, good. I'm glad to see the landlord is interested in selling that property to you. Yeah, it'll be important for you to get a CMA, or a comparative market analysis, before you make that move, so that you can make sure that the landlord isn't trying to get over on you because of their information advantage, right? So the landlord is going to have some number they want. Maybe they'll be reasonable. I don't know. We don't know if they're going to be reasonable until it's time to start negotiating. Gatepost Estates. Are you from? Oh, yes, I do know about that area. How do you like living over there in Gatepost Estates? Are you in Centerville? Is this your first time living in this area? I'm not sure. Did Lena say hello? I'm new to there. Okay, so this is Lena's first time. Lena, how do you feel about the Centerville Gatepost Estates? And also, which part of the region are you working in? Do you like your commute so far? Do you like that region? Let everybody else know your feedback. While I have some of you online right now, what do y'all think about this format? Do you like that I'm going live? Do you like that I'm answering your questions in real time? Do you like that I'm going through this book, giving you a local's perspective, a local real estate agent perspective? Do you feel like this is valuable, or should I stop doing it? Do you think that this is a waste of time? What are your thoughts? Let me know your feedback. Okay, so Lena says, I actually work from home. We relocated for my husband's job, which is in Chantilly, and he loves the commute. Oh, that's an excellent commute from Centerville to Chantilly. Oh, that's excellent. I'm glad that you all are you all enjoying the area? Where did you move from? Which part of the country did you move from? Love to know. Sean Jones says, love it, very helpful, especially for people new to the area or soon to be. Perfect. Excellent. Sean, which part of the region are you moving from? Where are you coming to us from? And also, are you relocating for work? Sharon B says, I think this is very valuable, especially as a first-time home buyer. It's a scary move purchasing a house, but I think knowledge is power, and the more my husband and I know, the better. Perfect. Also, Sharon, one thing that we feel about education, which is why we spend a lot of energy and time on building our YouTube channel and other social media outlets, is if you are more educated about the process, you feel much more comfortable about everything. You feel a little bit more relaxed because you have an idea. Whether or not it's factual or not doesn't matter. As long as you have a comfort level to, you know what? I listened to this guy online and he said that this is going to happen and this is what's happening. So I think you'll feel much more comfortable about this whole process. Oh, Lena's from Ohio. Oh yeah, this place is much better than Ohio. I'm just kidding. I've never been to Ohio, but I'm pretty sure it's lovely out there for all the Ohio people. But yeah, well, welcome to the area. Okay, Plano, Texas. A lot of things are going on in Texas right now. I guess the good news about coming here versus Texas is that we have 4 seasons. Parts of Texas do not. Yeah. All right. So LaShawn says, definitely invaluable. Thank you. My pleasure. ABC Cancun says, I like the format. What I would suggest to pick an area and have questions around that sometimes, because the chat has limitations, that would help with the context. Excellent. So pick an area and then interesting. How will we incorporate that into our current format? Okay, I'll think about that, ABC. That's great feedback. I appreciate that. You know, we've done live streams around a region before. The challenge with doing live streams about a region is that we kind of alienate anyone else who, like, say for instance, we do a video about Loudoun. Excuse me. Our channel is focused on Northern Virginia, so that means that kind of alienates everyone who's not interested in Loudoun. The same could be said about Fairfax County, Arlington, and such. So that's why you usually see us do more prepared pieces about the areas, and then this format is really like for not necessarily first-time home buyer questions, but just like a general overview of the home buying experience. Or we'll do market updates, which can be a little bit could hit everybody at the same level, right? If that makes sense. All right, Sean says, why? I need more culture and things to do that I like. Excellent. Yeah, there's a lot to do in the DC metro area. From having access to a lot of outdoor activities, we have access to mountains, to beaches within a drive. You will have a drive. It's not next door, but there's a drive. But outside of that, there's a lot of museums. There's a lot of restaurants. There's just a lot of different cultures living in the same location. People living from all over the world. My children have friends that have traveled all over the place, right? They're just from all over the place. So we're super fortunate to live in this area. All right, I will be moving from the Bay Area to Nova for work purposes. Oh, the Bay Area. Yeah. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about leaving the Bay Area? Do you like the Bay Area? I get mixed feedback about people who are moving from different parts of California. I guess the closer you are to the coast, the more you like where you live. So what do you think about the Bay Area? Lena S says, I love your content. It's been extremely helpful. I was able to learn a lot about the surrounding areas. That's perfect. Perfect. And then you got yourself a rental too. So you didn't hurt our feelings by not using us for a buy. So thank you so much for coming back. Ashawn says, which area are you looking at? So Fairfax, Loudoun County, townhome, $400,000 to $500,000. Need help deciding which region neighborhood to focus on. We'll fill out your questionnaire soon. Thanks for all the info. My pleasure. My pleasure. We could definitely drill down into the specifics about that. ABC Cancun says, like today would be Ashburn and questions around that. Okay. Well, so maybe what I can do is I can have like a 2-part session where I go over the question at the beginning, where we kind of stick to the content in the book, and then afterwards we'll answer questions about a certain region, right? Yeah, we could definitely look into that. I'll talk to the missus about that, and we could talk about how we could implement that. Thank you for that feedback, ABC. Sean Jones says, I'm from California Bay Area. An hour drive is not considered a drive. Oh, okay. Well, it's not going to be an hour drive. It's going to be probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Okay. So I don't want to mislead you there. So 2 hours, you're 2 hours away from the mountains, and then also you can get to a beach in 2 hours or so too. And then you also have, you have Baltimore, which is like an hour and some change from you, depending on what part of the region you're in. DC just has a whole lot of things to do. I mean, you have a major city, but you don't have to worry about living in the city per se. So you get access to it without having to live there. And then you just have the one thing you don't know if you don't live here yet is that Northern Virginia in general, there's a lot of parks here. So if you do like outdoors activities, even though there's a lot of homes, it's a large suburb community or region, there's just a lot of outdoor things to do. We love it here. We could definitely see ourselves retiring here and not having to move to a different location, which, by the way, I think somebody on YouTube asked us to do a retirement video, like places to retire. So we're going to be working on that shortly. Ashawn says she loves hikes, trails, excited about that. Yes. Oh, you're gonna like it then. You're gonna like it up here. And also we have mild weather, in my opinion. We get all 4 seasons, and all 4 seasons last their respective time. So we don't get none of the seasons last too long. So you get the beautiful transition from winter to spring, and then you have some spring to summer. Summer doesn't last long enough to really make having a pool make sense, which is why you don't see too many houses up here with swimming pools. And then fall is just an amazing season. It's beautiful. And then you go right back into winter. Winter gets a little gray in the area, but otherwise it's a beautiful location. Does it snow a lot in Northern Virginia? No. It will snow once. You should expect for it to snow once a year, but it won't snow a lot. Every few years we will get, a blizzard or a snowstorm, whatever that means. But a lot of times, because we don't have the infrastructure to deal with the snow, everything closes in Northern Virginia, right? So everything will close. Even if we get like an inch of snow, it's like mayhem. You go into the grocery store, everything is cleared out, the bread, water, people are preparing to shudder in. And that's because people up here don't know how to drive in the snow, because we don't get it that much. And our cars aren't really built for a snowstorm. So they close down schools, the government will close down office. It's likely you'll go to work that day. Things just get really weird here for snow because we're not used to it, which I think is cool. It's almost like a day off slightly. Our kids love snow days because they don't have to go to school. All right, ABC Cancun. Are there townhouses in Reston area close to Microsoft and Amazon offices that are 3,000 square feet? And when you say 3,000 square feet, I take it you're talking about the basement as well. If you're looking for a 3,000 square foot townhouse, you could get a 2-car garage unit that should be 3,000. Yeah, you'll be able to find that. It'll be most likely a in-unit townhouse But then what do you mean by close to Microsoft and Amazon? What do you mean by close to? 20-minute ride, 30-minute ride? What are you thinking? And also, ABC, did you say what your price point is? What are you thinking about? What's your budget for the townhouse? Yeah, you didn't say. You just said y'all a family of 4 looking. Let me know what your budget is. Any new construction happening in and around the Reston area? There is a new construction single family home development. There's only, I think, like 5 of those single family homes left. Those go, I think they start at 1.2 million, go up to 1.4, 1.5 million once you include the design center phase. And then there are some condos in Reston that are there's only a few units available there, but that wouldn't fit what you're looking for. The next development over to, there are some more those are condos as well, and that's going to be right outside of Reston. I believe that's in Herndon. There's something in Chantilly, but that's going to be a little bit further away, and those are going to be townhomes. And I don't believe they had any 2-car garage units. I'm always in DC, especially in the Smithsonian museums. I will be volunteering at the NMAA, the National, what is NMAA? Also, I love the weather here. The winters are much milder than in Ohio. Yes, the weather here is great, right? The only problem with the weather here is that you need clothing for each season. So you will have to buy a big coat. You just will only wear it for like a week. Some months. I don't want you to quote me on that. Some seasons, right? Okay, ABC Cancun. I see some listings in Redfin and some in Zillow. How can I see all the listings in Northern Virginia area? I mean, we could sign you up to have access to the MLS, and then you can see everything that's in the MLS. Also, another reason why you want to get MLS access, we talked about this last night. MLS access gives you the opportunity to see coming soon listings in real time, right? So as soon as they are available, they'll be launched on the MLS, and you can get those alerts or notifications and set up your own searches. So we have people who we've represented, 5, 6, 7 years ago, who still use their MLS search just because they like to look at sold properties, and they conduct their own little interviews. I mean, their own little analysis. All right, Lena S says, my first winter here and loving it. Okay, Lena, don't let this winter trick you. All right, our winters are colder. We usually have snow too. We usually have at least 1 or 2 days of snow. So don't let this trick you. Don't buy into the hype. This is your first year. I wouldn't suggest making this the base point of your understanding of what happens in winter in Northern Virginia. Okay, about $800K. Yeah, you should be able to find a 2-car garage townhouse that should be big enough. I think that once you see a 2-car garage townhouse, they should be big enough to fit your needs. Especially if you get an end unit. End units are going to be it's going to feel a little bit more spacious because you'll have the windows off to the side, which is going to bring some natural light into your unit, which is going to give that illusion of space. All right, LaShawn M says, I am transitioning from the military and will be relocating to Arlington in the spring. I will definitely be reaching out once I'm ready to purchase my first home. Excellent. Enjoy the Arlington area. Which part of Arlington are you going to be going into? My favorite part of Arlington is Ballston. Ballston is just a great place. Now, not with kids, but if you don't have kids, Ballston is just a great location. It's so walkable. You have metro stations, you have a park, you have a bunch of restaurants, you have a shopping mall. Ballston is an excellent location in Arlington. $800K for a townhouse and $1.2 million for a single family home. Okay, so if you're going up to 1.2 for a single family home, there is a development by, I think it's Ryan Home, because I have a lot of new construction walking tours on my property tours on my site, and Ryan Homes is usually the company that doesn't allow me to do the tours, and I believe it's in Herndon, but I can get that information for you if you reach out. Does it cost to sign up for the MLS listing? No. No. It isn't. There's no cost associated with that. All right. Lena says African American History Museum. Oh, okay. Okay. Excellent. That's what I thought it meant, but yes. Okay. Perfect. Well, you should enjoy. That should be a great experience. You probably meet all kinds of interesting people with that experience. Let me know about that. All right, Kay Walker, that's the missus, that's my wife. She says it would have usually snowed at least twice by now. Yep. So yes. So Lena, don't buy into this, okay? This is not reality. This is a unseasonably warm winter. Sharon B says, do you cover the Woodbridge area as well? Yes, we do. We live in Kingstown, which is right north of the Woodbridge area. So right between us and Woodbridge is going to be Lorton and then Woodbridge. We have an active group tonight. This is great. You know what I'm saying? This is great. This is why we enjoy doing these live streams. We could just answer the questions in real time. Otherwise, we got a prepared video, get that edited by our video editor, and then we post it on YouTube, and then you comment, and I go back and forth. Whereas these live streams, you could just chime in immediately. We even have some background music going. I love this selection. I put this little track together myself. All right, laugh out loud. Okay, remember, I'm used to a lot of snow. Okay, we'll never have a lot of snow, so you don't have to worry about that. So I guess if that's what you're used to, Lena, you'll always have a mild. You'll always consider what we are doing in Northern Virginia or the snow that we get mild. Now, it will be funny, Lena, when you talk to your neighbors and they're like, oh my God, can you believe all the snow that we received? That is the thing that's interesting about this location, that because we're not used to having much snow, people over exaggerate the snow that we have. So I'll tell you a little funny aside or story. When we moved here in 2013, August 2013. And I think that year, our first year we moved here, it snowed, and it was a huge snowstorm. Or was it the second year? Maybe it was winter 2014. Huge snowstorm. And so we live in Kingstown. My office is right down the street from my house, which is one of the reasons why we live in this area. And I can walk to my office, or it's a 5-minute drive. So when it snowed, I wasn't used to driving in snow, and I'm from New Orleans where we don't get snow. So I was so afraid of driving that I walked to the office. So I'm trekking through snow to get to the office, right? And it takes me probably like an hour to get to the office, but I want to go to work. I get to the office. No one is at the office. So I think something happened. I really did. I was looking around the office. I was like, I wonder if people made it. Maybe the snow caused everybody to get into an accident. Maybe that's why no one's here. I called the manager of the office at that time. I said, hey, is everything okay? And they said, yeah, everything's okay, but the office is closed today. I said, why is the office closed? And it was like, because it snowed. And I was like, oh, people don't go to work when it snows? It was like, no, people don't go to work. I was like, oh, see, I'm from New Orleans. In New Orleans, you sometimes have people going to work during a tropical storm. It's not that big of a deal to have inclement weather, and just to go on about your normal daily activities. And that's how I was raised, and that's super funny to me. All right, ABC says, I'm leaning towards Ashburn than Vienna or Oakton. My once a week commute would be to Reston Town Center or Herndon. Felt Vienna and Oakton are too remote. That was my impression spending a weekend. If you believe that Vienna and Oakton are too remote, but you believe that Ashburn is not remote, interesting. That's an interesting perspective. See, I would say that most people we encounter believe that Ashburn is too remote, and Vienna and Oakton are more conveniently or centrally located, because Vienna Oakton gives you quick access to Tyson's. You can go into Arlington. You can get into Falls Church. You can get into DC much quicker. But again, it all depends on your lifestyle, though. If you are leaning more towards the Ashburn area, then I don't think that you're going to be disappointed with Ashburn. I think you'll just start making concessions with living that distance from the city if you don't go to the city, if that makes sense. ABC says Vienna or Oakton look like campgrounds. What? Don't tell them that. I mean, they pay, they pay top dollar to live over there. But if you are looking at Vienna or Oakton, and then you're also thinking about Ashburn, it sounds like school ratings are important to you. I would say because you're coming from the Bay Area and you may be accustomed to newer properties, if that's the case, then I think Ashburn is going to be more suitable to your liking, because Vienna or Oakton, unless you get a teardown, which even the teardowns are going to be like 1.5 million and above, I think you're going to like the options that Ashburn offers you. Excuse me. Very true. If schools are important, I would say that Ashburn schools are, I don't think that you can, how do I want to say this? I think your kids are going to have a great school experience in general, because I find that people in Ashburn are much more focused on school ratings. Like, school ratings are very important to a lot of people who move to the Ashburn area, or Loudoun in general. So I think that's going to do you well. And it's newer. It's just newer out there, right? It's a recently developed kind of environment. And because Ashburn in the Loudoun, that eastern Loudoun County area, has done so well with attracting higher net worth individuals, and their communities have been selling very well as far as new communities. A lot of companies have moved out there to offer you different aspects that aren't really available in Fairfax County. So I think you'll like that decision. I don't think that you can go wrong with that. And there's stuff to do in that area. It's just that I like to go to the city a lot, and I view living in Ashburn as a deterrent to me going to the city. Oshan says, were you a radio host in a previous job? Very well done live show. Thanks. Oh, Oshan, thank you so much. I have the face for video, but I have the voice for radio. I think it's this mic. This mic sounds delicious. I don't know if this is a Shure SM7B. So this is what all the professionals use. And it gives your voice a much more rich flavor. And to be honest with you, I could talk to a wall and make the wall have a good time. I like to classify myself as a level 5 chatter, so I can chat with the best of them. All right, Kay Walker says, my wife, she says, laugh myself. She says, Theodore said you have a radio voice. So Theodore is our youngest son. He's 12. Our oldest son is Abraham Walker II. So he says I have a radio voice too. Excellent. What's funny about when you're on camera, you change your voice because it's a performance. So I don't believe I sound like this in real life. At least I don't think so. I could be mistaken though. ABC says I don't need to go to DC. Excellent. Work would be in and around restaurants, so looking at Aldi also. Oh yes, Aldi has some fabulous new construction properties as far as like the single family homes. Have you seen the what is that community? The name is right on the tip of my tongue. We have some property tours for the Aldi single family homes, but if your price range is 1.2, I guess you can get to those smaller properties. What is the name of this area? Not knowing it right now is Let's see. Let me just look this up right quick. Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 builders in this one community in Aldi, and the houses are gorgeous. They actually have those second kitchens, those the kitchen for your kitchen in the event that you don't want to. Heartland. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Heartland. There we go. Yeah, Heartland. Have you seen those properties in there? ABC Heartland. ABC says, yes, you're doing an excellent job. First time here, and I'm getting a lot of good info. Perfect. Yeah. So ABC, check out our YouTube channel. The new construction properties are all located in the same playlist, and we actually have a couple tours of single family homes from Heartland, which is a community in Aldi. And if I'm not mistaken, do I have anything else in the Aldi area on our channel? I'm trying to think. There you go. The missus came in with the save. Heartland. There we go. No, we'll check out Heartland. Yeah, Heartland is a nice place. Also, Lena Mill is by Toll Brothers. They have a couple units left. I don't know. I think it's going to be at the top of that $1.2 million range that you have. You could possibly do it with less design center options. So it just depends. I am, to be honest with you, I'm much more of a fan of when you're building out your property, even though it may stretch your budget a little bit, to get as many of the updates and features that you can during your build out. Let the builder add all of the features to the property that you believe you're going to want. The reason why you want to do it like this is because you do not want to live in a construction zone. Living in a construction zone is horrible. Dealing with contractors that may or may not perform is not ideal. Living with dust everywhere is not, I don't recommend it. So if you can stomach the upcharge, try to get the builder to have as much of the property built out to your standards as possible. That's my recommendation. I know it's going to increase your budget, but I think you're going to be much more pleased with living in the final product than to move in considering, oh, I need to update this. I need to update this. That's just, I try to remove as much brain fog or as many decisions as I possibly can, even if it may cost me a little bit more money. Like this microphone. This is a Shure SM7B. Some people will say this is overkill, Abraham, but I like the, hey, yeah, sure, it costs more money than other microphones, but since I upgraded, I don't have to worry about it anymore. So this is just already set in stone. That's just how I like to roll. Excellent. So if you all have any other questions, please post them down below in the comment section. I love the fact that you all are choosing to be with me on a Wednesday. Earlier in this live stream, if you want to go back to it, we answered question number 11 from our 100 questions every first-time home buyer should ask. And it was a conversation about how to choose a real estate agent. Make sure you check out that later on. But we'll stay on as long as you all have questions. If you don't have any questions, then I'll go have myself some dinner. Get ready for tomorrow. The kids are off from school, so we'll be heading to DC. One thing we haven't done in DC, I saw this on TikTok just the other day, is we have not going up to the top of the Washington Memorial. They are now, that attraction is now open again. So we will definitely go do that, see the views, and also go relive the Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man movie had a scene out of that, out of the Washington Monument. Excellent. All right, so we'll play another song all the way until the end. And if we don't have any questions, then we'll say good night. And I will be back on tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to answer any and all of your real estate questions. If you know someone else who's looking to buy a home, sell a home, or invest in real estate, you could send them to the show and I'll answer every question as honestly as I possibly can and cut straight through the fluff. Tomorrow we'll be answering question number 12 in the 100 questions every first-time home buyer should ask. Okay, Sean says, well, thanks for everything. We'll look forward to tomorrow night. Have fun with the kids and family tomorrow. Thank you so much, Sean. Thank you so much. Lena says, nice. Have a great time. My son is also off for the next 2 days as well. Lena, what are you all plans for this coming weekend? It seems like you all like to explore the area. What are your plans? And pink waving. Thanks. My pleasure, Sharon. Thanks so much for joining us. Where's the car show at? Which car show? Let us know. Oh, it's a car show in Dulles? Oh, we got to look that up. Maybe our boys would love to do something like that. We'll look that up. What's up, Fairfax Joe? I've seen you in the comment section before. Thanks for joining us. All right. So this is the last song until we get out of here. This is my favorite song on this track. I don't know what it's called, but I like it. Washington, D.C. Auto Show at the Walter E. Oh, so you're going into D.C. Okay. Interesting. Good. I hope you have fun. We'll look that up, see how much the tickets cost. See if the boys have any interest in that. Okay, thank you all for joining us. We will be back tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you all have a great day until I see you on tomorrow. Again, remember, there is a link in the description to the Perfect Home Questionnaire. Fill out that form, and you can schedule some one-on-one time with me. Until then, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace. No problem, Fairfax Joe. You get one time to be wrong here. One time, okay? Just kidding. All right, see y'all tomorrow.